factors, I find that they outweigh the mitigating factors set out in paragraph 43 and those that have been raised by the accused and the defense, which I have listed. The only saving grace is the public apology rendered to the appointing authority, the people of Karamoja and the public election. For the reasons above, I decline the request by counsel for the defense to impose a fine alone. The reasons for this is as follows. The highest penalty of a fine prescribed under Section 21(1) of the Anti-Corruption Act, which is the penalty for this offense or fine, is 160 currency points. And it comes to a paltry 3,200,000 by all standards. That amount is inadequate, and I, at this juncture, wish to state that it may be useful for the legislature to consider or reconsider the ranges of fines that are prescribed in the law for corruption offenses. In my view, they are so low that they make it difficult to hand down to convicts in corruption cases. In fact, the convict often cannot benefit from the sole option of a fine because they are so low that they do not fit the crimes. And one of the principles of sentencing is that the offense, the sentence that is prescribed by the court must fit the crime that is being committed. So, the sentencing guidelines recommend a starting point of 3.5 years for the offense of abuse of office. I will use that as a guide for the offense of dealing with suspect property, for which no ranges are specifically given. Now, since the aggravating factors outweigh the mitigating factors, and since I have already said you cannot render a sentence of a fine alone, I can only move upward from the starting range, which is 3.5 years. I'm of the view that the 5 years paid for by the state is on the high side, considering that the iron sheets eventually were recovered, though they are no longer new and have been kept somewhere in a certain state. The missing iron sheets have been paid for, the convict is remorseful. Also the fact that there was a lack of premeditation. I therefore find that a sentence of 4 years imprisonment is suitable circumstances. Compensation orders are intended to provide immediate relief to victims of crime and alleviate the grievances of complainants. In light of what I have stated about the recovery of the iron sheets, I decline counsel for the state's application for me to order a compensation order. I also wish to state that a compensation order ought to be based on clear evidence for the loss that has been suffered. The iron sheets have been now recovered